So I'm aware that flat Earth does not believe in gravity. And what does make things drop to the ground? Because I've heard like air mediums, which
You're confused, buddy. You're confused. When they say they don't believe in gravity, it means mass attracting mass, not that things don't fall to the ground.
yes, because mass attracts mass, which means
Okay. How do you know that?
Yeah.
How do you know that that's why things fall? It's a mass attracting mass.
What else is gonna make it fall?
That's not. That doesn't tell me how you know that.
Hold on, so
But
we were
I'm
talking
not-
about something, and now this random guy chimes in.
I'll
Asking
tell
about
you.
gravity.
I'll tell you. Well, hold on. You know, he was talking before, Peter. I don't know if you're here. He was.
Hey, wait,
We're waiting for his evidence. He was in limbo, and so he didn't find it.
I'm just asking. I'm asking.
Nobody
what
knows
you
why
believe
things
in.
fall.
I'm asking what you believe
Yeah.
in.
No, I don't have a belief. There's no belief here. You believe that things fall because mass attracts mass. You have no evidence for that. That's the problem. You believe something. So I'll ask again.
Also,
What's the
who's
evidence
you,
that
bro?
mass attracts to
Because
mass
Indio
is the
and I
causal
believe
mechanism
different
why
things.
Yeah, hold on, Peter. Dude. So what's your evidence that mass attracting mass is the causal mechanism for falling objects? Can you give us an experiment, for example, that shows it? Should be simple, because you think it's a foregone conclusion.
I'll give you
No?
an example. I know y'all don't believe in the open space, and you believe there's only the Earth, the Moon, and the Sun. But let's go into open space. Boots void.
No one believes it.
Okay.
Shut up, dude. Don't start, dude. Don't start. Don't straw man us.
Straw man you.
Yeah, we don't.
I'm saying what
Just
I've
carry on.
observed. Okay, I will carry
I
on.
don't know your ass from your elbow, bro.
What? I'm sorry. I'm saying.
You don't know your ass from your elbow, okay? Just saying. So,
Ass from my
listen,
elbow.
let's see. You don't know your ass from your elbow. Appealing to space to tell me why things fall on Earth doesn't help us. We want to know why things fall on Earth. And unless there's a big mirror in space that somehow shows how things fall on Earth is mass attracting mass, I don't know how that's going to help you. So we have an observed natural phenomenon, right? I let something go, falls to the ground. Boom. Right? Why does that happen? What experiment can we do to figure out why that happens?
Okay.
Yeah, simple. Experiment. That's how science works, right? You do an experiment.
The experiment.
Yeah,
Okay.
experiment.
The Cavendish experiment conducted between
Okay,
1797.
so what falls in that? What falls in the Cavendish experiment?
The experiment measuring the force of gravity.
Okay, first of all, yeah, but we want to know why things fall.
It's gravity. Mass attracts mass.
Yeah, that's your claim, dude. I want the experiment that shows it.
Okay, I'll explain you the experiment.
I don't need the explanation. I need the experiment. I don't need a story, dude.
I'm trying to explain you the experiment.
I don't. I understand. Oh, the experiment. You
the
said
experiment itself.
Okay, so how does the? I know the Cavendish.
Can I tell you the experiment now, or are you going to keep on cutting me off?
I know.
You're lagging really bad.
Exactly.
No, like genuinely, you were lagging really bad. Okay.
Yeah, can you tell me what's observed in the Cavendish experiment?
The apparatus can. Okay, whatever. Let's skip to where the hell we are.
Hey Glover, this is the first time you saw the Cavendish experiment, right?
So I have to talk to ChatGPT now. Fantastic. I don't know how I deal with this shit.
This is the funniest thing in India.
Yeah.
There's a baby glurf comes in, never heard about it
Okay,
before. He just Googled it real quick, and
okay,
he's trying to explain it.
okay. The apparatus consisting of a torsion bar made of a 6-foot wooden rod horizontally suspended from a wire with 2-inch diameter, 1.6 pound lead spheres, one attached to each end, 2 massive 12-inch, 348 lead balls suspended separately, could be positioned away from each other to either side of the smaller balls, 255 millimeters away. The experiment measured the faint gravitational attraction between the small and large balls, which deflected the torsion bounce rod about 0.6 inches or around 0.03 inches with a stiffer suspending wire.
So what is falling in the experiment?
Sorry, what? My sister was being annoying.
What is... I know. She can't be like that. What is falling in the experiment?
It is a experiment that shows that gravity exists, but it's not necessarily that gravity is only falling. It is the attraction of mass and mass. So that is what is gravity. It is mass attracts mass. That is the formula. It is mass attracts mass equals G.
Okay, so typically in scientific experiments, there will be a hypothesis. So can you give us the hypothesis? There's kind of a dependent variable and then an independent variable, the thing that you're going to manipulate to get the dependent variable to happen. So can you give us the hypothesis? That way we know this is a true scientific experiment and not some kind of affirming the consequent fallacy.
What is a affirming the consequence fallacy?
Well, it would go something like this. If gravity exists, these balls will get closer. These balls get closer, therefore gravity exists. It would be something like that. It's circular reasoning.
So what I'm reading from, it doesn't necessarily go, like, it doesn't necessarily tell me the hypothesis, but I can infer that the hypothesis is that yes, gravity does exist, because if I set up the experiment, the balls should, in theory, move together.
They move together, therefore the gravity exists. So that would be affirming the consequent. This would be basically a fallacious test or a way to rip off the masses by showing them some kind of parlor trick and then declaring that gravity exists.
Do you want me to send you what I'm reading from? If that would
No, I
help
already
you?
know the entire. No, bro. I already know the entire lore behind this particular non-experiment. It's not an experiment, first of all. In fact, the only thing that you really could be observing, because this is not natural science that they're doing, they have an apparatus. They built it, so it's a synthetic or an artificial thing that they built. And so what they did is they said, I know. We'll tell the people gravity exists if these balls move closer together. The balls move closer together, therefore gravity exists. By the way, that wasn't the intention of this particular apparatus. It was supposed to be detecting the mass of the Earth. And in this case, they had already presupposed that the Earth was a large sphere with an unknown mass. So there's a lot of things, a lot of nuances about this that you probably aren't aware of, but just a surface level read like you're doing right now would have you convinced that because two balls moved closer together, all of a sudden gravity is a thing.
So, if I tried to argue with an experiment, you can turn that around and say circular reasoning and then flip my whole argument upside down. Is that what you're telling me?
No, I'm not doing any kind of witchcraft here, or, there's no tomfoolery involved. I'm pointing out to you that what you're dealing with isn't actually an experiment at all. Do you think that because men build something, all of a sudden it becomes a scientific experiment? That would be incorrect. In the scientific method, the first thing you're supposed to do is observe a natural phenomena. That's why, the lore is that old Isaac Newton got hit in the head by an apple. An apple fell out of a tree and hit him on, right? That's how the story goes, anyways. So the naturally observed phenomena would be something accelerating towards the ground. You could use a raindrop. You could use an apple. You could use any of these things. So the thing that we're trying to prove is what causes things to fall. That's why Indio was asking you about the falling bit, not about balls in a shed. The next thing you would do is propose a hypothesis. If blank, then stuff will fall to the ground. So in this scenario, there is no experiment because there's no hypothesis. We don't even actually have what is required for the experiment to occur. Nothing is falling.
But you don't need specifically falling to.
Oh, you're right. What was the naturally observed phenomena again? Things falling, right?
Yes.
Aren't we
That is
trying to go ahead and create that particular scenario?
Yes, you could create that. Actually, no, you couldn't on Earth because of its gravity, and if you were to, for example, get like.
We're not to gravity yet. We haven't even proved gravity exists. All we see is in certain scenarios things fall. Meanwhile, the gas molecules around the raindrop and around the apple are moving freely and randomly in all directions, including up. So I'm not even sure that we have really a naturally observed phenomena because not everything is falling. Some things are going freely and randomly in all directions. But for the sake of argument, we'll just stick with the falling part for now. So something falls. We need to know what causes that. So what causes it?
As I said, mass plus mass.
Okay.
Mass
Okay.
is attracted to other masses.
Well, apparently that's a hypothesis that you're coming up with. So what is mass?
Mass is, for example, I'm pretty sure it is the weight of an object, or I may be wrong. I don't know.
Well, weight is weight. Mass is a different word.
So, mass refers to a fundamental property of matter measuring inertia, resistance to acceleration.
Okay. So now mass is resistance to acceleration? Is that your final answer?
The fuck?
I don't know.
Telling me this here? Oh, it's a stupid ass AI overview. Okay. Mass can. Okay, here we go. Mass can be experimentally defined as a measure of the body's inertia, or basically, I think that means potential force. I don't know, dude. I had like an 80 in science. A measure of the body's inertia, meaning the resistance to acceleration when a net force is applied. The object's mass also determines the strength of its gravitational attraction to other bodies.
Okay. So it's two things. Which one are you going to pick?
It is the second one, because the first one is the fuck-ass AI overview that is very commonly incorrect.
Okay, so now mass is apparently an attraction?
No.
What does it say? What was the second part?
Mass can be experimentally defined as a measure of the body's inertia, meaning the resistance to acceleration when a net force is. Can this stupid thing stop being annoying on me? Measure of the body's inertia, meaning the resistance to acceleration when a net force is applied. The object's mass also determines the strength of its gravitational attraction to other bodies.
Okay, so it determines that. So the resistance to acceleration, how would we measure that? That also happens to be the same definition of inertia, but we'll just keep going.
Could you repeat that?
Well, interestingly enough, depending on what website you go to or what source you pick, mass essentially has the same definition as inertia, which is resistance to acceleration.
Okay.
So mass and inertia are now conflated, but I would like to know how we would measure that.
Okay.
So how do we measure it? What value can you give me for something's mass?
So you can use the formula of m equals weight over gravity, which is mass. Mass equals weight over gravity. Mass equals force over acceleration. And to measure mass, you would use a triple beam balance.
Right. I hear the formula. Can you just give me the value?
The value? What do you mean by value?
Well, if you're going to measure something at the end of the day, you're going to end up with a certain amount of volts or inches or kilograms or Kelvin, right? So what units determine how much mass we're dealing with? What value? I guess homeboy bounced.
El Hussein is here. Welcome. I don't think I've talked to you before. It says you're VC verified and Nitro Boost VIP. I feel like that's a combo we don't see very often. You know,
Hello.
just those two roles. Hello. How did you find us?
I know I've been here for quite a while. Like I keep joining and leaving and joining and leaving. Like first time I've been here was like 2020. So 2020, yeah.
I know, I'm the same way. It's kind of upsetting. Like I'm kind of mad at my past self because my account doesn't really show like my actual history of dates and stuff.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah. But it's all right. You're incognito as a new person. What is your position regarding the globe?
Like not much to say, to be honest. More into the flat Earth, I guess. But like it's not a topic that I've been into way too much. Sometimes I just keep reading, watching videos, watching arguments online. But really, I haven't had the time to look into it enough, I guess.
Yeah, so you haven't made up your mind. And you might be seeing bad information because there's a lot of bad flat Earth
No,
information
I'm
out
aware
there.
of that. Yeah, like the Twitter guys, I forgot what they're called. Like that Twitter account that's very known and is assumed to be the flat Earth community. I think that's what they're called.
Oh, yeah, I don't know who that is. The Flat Earth Community, is that what they're called?
The guys with like the disk profile picture who used to talk to Elon Musk on Twitter, I think. I really can't recall what the username was.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, I don't really know that much
Yeah.
about what goes on there on Twitter. So what are arguments that you've heard for Flat Earth that made you lean in that direction?
Well, not really arguments. It's just looking at photos that are supposedly from space, and you can kind of tell that curvature seems to be changing from one photo to another. And that kind of raises questions, right? So I keep looking into it. That's how I ended up here.
Nice. Yeah, I like that. I wish we had a globe believer, like a true believer in here, because you could tell them how pictures from space indicate the lack of consistency of curvature,
Yeah.
like you just said, that they show a widely varying degree of curvature, which makes their story inconsistent and incoherent, both of those things. Because the people who say pictures from space make them think it's a globe. It really should be the opposite. That should make you question. Yeah, because if it were, then all these images should show a consistent level of curvature, and they don't.
Yeah, as Elon Musk said, it has to be real because it looks so fake.
Yeah, what about the measurements? Have you seen those, like the long distance observations, the
haven't.
laser tests? Oh, you haven't seen those? Oh, great. Well, we have to show you then.
Sure.
Yeah.
The ones like in the channels below, like there's a lot of channels where there's quite a bit of evidence there, the additional info category.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
There's the long distance observations channel.
Oh yeah. I have been there. Yeah. I just looked.
You have
and I
been there.
remember. Yeah. I've seen those before.
Oh, okay. So, like, did you watch the videos?
I don't really remember. Let me see. I probably did. Like as I said, I just keep joining and leaving over and over. So probably might have seen some of them.
That's cool that you know those channels are down there because, yeah, that's a lot of people don't realize that is one of the main benefits of this server is that there is a carefully curated selection of information down there that is good, verifiable, flat earth information, which you can't find just anywhere. And you definitely can't find if you just Google flat earth, then you're going to get a bunch of nonsense. Like, I think that was John Adams that came in here and said, oh, he knows all about the flat earth stuff, And then he just named a bunch of straw man arguments that are not real flat earth information at all. So that's cool. I'm glad to hear that you've looked down there.
Yeah.
And did you understand the reason for the long distance observations?
No, not quite, to be honest.
Yeah. So depending on which one you look at, there's basically two different kinds. There's observations that debunk the expected drop over distance that you would see if you lived on a sphere of a radius of 3,959 miles. And then the other kind are the horizon observations, and those debunk another calculation of the maximum distance of the horizon on a sphere with that same given radius, which is 1.22 miles times the square root of the observer height in feet. So yeah, both of those formulae show you, what the prediction would be, what you would see or not see on a globe. And each time you can make an observation of something that wouldn't be seen on this globe. So in the case of the missing drop over distance, it's something that would be hidden behind this alleged curve, and yet the object is visible. And in the case of the horizon, it's the where you can see the horizon that's clearly beyond the maximum distance that it would be if you were on a sphere.
Yeah, and it doesn't exist.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, the only sphere we can see is what Professor Triangle has put there, the not even perfectly spherical, but slightly spherical nature of the dandelion ready to spread its seeds. Do you remember any of the ones that you looked at in particular?
I'm actually looking because, I remember being here before, and one of the channels was like something I'm quite interested in, but I can't quite find which one was it. All right, it's the astronauts one. There is this guy who, let me play the video. Let's just run. Yeah, it's the guy who keeps saying like we can go back to the moon and like we destroyed the technology and we can't go back anymore. Was one of the videos.
Don Pettit, yeah. He's the best hostile witness for the flat earth. Yeah. Because if those are the brightest and the best we got, and these are the guys that are trying to convince you, that you live on a globe, that we went to the moon and all that, it's kind of like, yeah, good job, guys. That's your best team you got there, Don Pettit. Good job. I mean, that's the thing. All of these things are kind of, just side notes to the main conclusive evidence debunking the curvature, which is never measured, never observed in reality. But all these other things, they're just icing on the cake. Like, these are your best of the best. Yep, these are your astronauts. Yep, Don Pettit. Yeah, we can't go back to the moon.
Yeah.
It's too hard. Yeah, we destroyed the technology. Yeah, I mean, it's just absurd. Like, it's really a litmus test. Do you have common sense or not? Like, if you still think that, this fairy tale is true and you think these are the experts, it's kind of like, I don't know, it just shows that the person either has no common sense or has emotional problems, I guess, where they're just so strongly in denial and they can't even handle the concept of going against the emotional appeal and the propaganda, which is fine. I mean, that's why propaganda has worked throughout history, is because it appeals to the weaknesses in human nature and the inability for most men to stand strong against a crowd. So yeah, if Don Pettit convinces you guys, yeah, like just go back to the globe. Like we don't even want you if you think Don Pettit's an astronaut. Please. I mean, an astronaut in the sense of what astronauts used to be when they started, their fake space program, when they were like military guys who were very, intelligent, had common sense, like the one they murdered, Gus Grissom, those kind of guys. Like, I would have called them astronauts and that would have been fine, because when it was, just conceptual, we were hoping to do this, they deserved the title, possibly the best and the brightest. That's why they had to kill them. I guess they miscalculated, like, oh yeah, we can't have guys that are too smart, because then there'll be whistleblowers. There might even be some who, after we burn the first one alive, decides he's even going to still be a whistleblower because he thinks it's important enough to prevent all mankind from being deceived. So we better just get dumb guys that we can easily bribe and coddle and blow smoke up their ass, and they'll do what we want and make stupid videos like Don Pettit does. Good idea, guys.
You got the help. That's all you get. You get the help.
Yes, thank you. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Oh my gosh.
Which one were you referring to? Like the people who got killed or something? Like, I didn't catch that one.
Oh yeah.
Not
I'll find you some information about it. The most interesting information to me is how he was an Apollo 1 astronaut, Gus Grissom. He was one of 3. The second one was from Grand Rapids. The third one was from somewhere south of here, like either southern Indiana or somewhere down there, southern Ohio. I can't remember where that guy was from, but they have stuff named after him down there. I feel very bad that I don't remember the name of the other 2. It's very bad. But Gus Grissom was the one who really put his neck on the line, so I can find the other information for you. But anyway, yeah, so during Apollo 1, I'll just tell you the story, and then after I'll tell you a short version, and then I'll find some links and document to back it up. So Apollo 1, first mission, they said they were going to go to the moon. Gus Grissom, former military guy, was I don't know if he was the head of the 3, but he was definitely the most gutsy of the 3. We'll put it that way. He came to think that it was not going to be possible, for them to go to the moon, that this technology was not going to work the way that it claimed. And so he not only thought this, he was doing his own research. He had papers at his home. No one knows exactly what they said, because I believe it was before they even informed his wife, they came to the house and took all his papers away. They confiscated all of his papers, before he died. Then they confiscated the papers, and I'm pretty sure they told the wife. I'm pretty sure that's the order that it went, those 3 things. But anyway, he not only did he think it, he made a public statement. He held a lemon up in front of the shuttle. There's a picture of that, saying that it was a lemon. Do you know what that means in vernacular? Like lemons, like in terms of automobiles would be like, cars that don't work, because that's why we have lemon laws. We're not allowed to like sell a car that doesn't work well and pretend that it does. But so anyway, that was the significance of the lemon. And he said, we can't even communicate with the next building. How are we going to communicate with the moon? So these are public statements he made in addition to the private papers. But basically they came to realize, oh, this guy's on to us. Like, he's not going to go along with this. And so what happened was they were doing a test, and and they all three burned alive inside the capsule. So they all died, all three of them. And so after that happened, Gus Grissom's family, sons, actually the sons didn't get involved until later when they were adults. They were children at the time. But as time went on, they made public statements that they thought that this had been done on purpose, that they thought their husband and father had been murdered. So they took it to court. That's the article I'll find you. I think it's from the New York Times where the mother sued. The wife sued. I'll find you the details in case anything I'm telling you, I'm not remembering it right, but this is the basic outline. And then, and I also have his obituary, which contains some of those details. Eventually, as the sons got older, this was like a lifelong quest. One of them somehow was allowed to see the capsule, which amazes me that even happened. But anyway, it turned out that the capsule could be locked from the outside, so they were locked in, and there was no way for them to get out. You know what I mean? It was locked, and they couldn't open the lock to get out. And also, there was something about the pure oxygen environment. If anybody else, knows details about this, any of our other flat Earth friends, feel free to chime in. But yeah, there was they were in a pure oxygen environment, which they shouldn't have been.
Yeah, 100% oxygen makes non-flammable items flammable.
Yep, and that's what they shouldn't. Wasn't their protocol, or they shouldn't have had that, right, Rayleigh?
It's like the dumbest thing ever to do is put 100% oxygen in there.
Yeah, so so people ask, like, why aren't there whistleblowers? Oh, okay, well, could be because they murder them. Could be that's why. And then they just pick dumb people who aren't even going to be whistleblowers anyway after that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I looked it up and I think I found it. There is like three guys. The commander was named Gus Grissom, I think, and senior pilot was named Ed White, and the pilot was Roger B. something. Can't quite see it. Chaffee, I think.
Oh yeah, Chaffee. I think that's the one from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Yeah, and then the other one's the one from somewhere south of Michigan. Yep.
Yeah, so he was the pilot, I guess. Yeah, pilot.
Oh yeah, I guess he was from Texas, but there's some. It says Ed White was from Texas, but there's something when we were driving to Tennessee, I saw something named after him in between here and there. I can't remember what it was. I should find that. That's why I thought he was from there, but maybe he lived down there. Roger B. Chevy, born 1935, Grand Rapids, Michigan, died January 27th, 1967, Cape Canaveral, Florida. Yep, only 32 years old. R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Cause of death for Ed White asphyxia, aka burned alive in a locked capsule locked from the outside by the U.S. government.
And then the guy who investigated some of these problems with NASA, he ends up dead too, miraculously.
Which guy was that?
Same dude or someone else?
He was the guy who he sent this long before, like, to a lot of different people. His report. Let me see if I can remember his name. His name's Thomas something or another. Yeah, Thomas Ronald Barron. He was the quality control and safety inspector employed by North American Aviation. They were the ones who were building the Apollo command module. But he was a whistleblower before the fire even. He had raised concerns about safety issues, poor workmanship, and protocol violations. He got fired back in 1966. He testified before Congress in a subcommittee once the accident happened.
I guess New York Times, I guess they make you pay for articles, but this is the one I was thinking. It was Betty Grissom's obituary, yeah, who sued an astronaut husband's death. She was shunned by the space community after she sued North American Rockwell in the launch pad death of Gus Grissom. She won a settlement. Can you tell me that name again, Rayleigh, that person you were just talking about?
Yeah, he's Thomas Ronald Barron.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, because when I look him up, died in 1967 in Florida. It says movies, conspiracy theory, did we land on the moon, 2001. What's that one? Have you heard of that movie?
Not specifically.
I wonder what its conclusion is. I guess they talk about him in there.
And I have a copy of a Twitter post in which one guy says, my father worked on the Apollo program starting with Saturn V. And he said, the workers at NASA, he goes, at least 50% of them were running their own little side hustles, either on or off the clock. And then most of the other 50% didn't do very much at all.
Yeah, that's why we've got on our top 10 voting list, we've got of moments of 2025, we've got NASA being officially rebranded as a spy agency. I mean, it's pretty amazing. It's funny because I was looking for a link because that was Sheepdog's contribution.
I'll get it.
Okay, yeah, because it was like it wasn't like I didn't find a lot of news articles. I guess it was kind of like just kind of people didn't really hear about it because it seems like people didn't even know. Even today, when you brought it up, Indio, I think some people didn't even know that it happened.
I found out because someone on Twitter was whining about it. Trump is destroying NASA now, and he made it a spy agency. Now they're not doing space. Like, yeah, cool, thanks. They never were.
That's right. At least they're done with that claim. Oh yeah, that's interesting, Riley. My dad worked as a NASA engineer for 30 years, starting with Saturn V. Close to 25 to 50% of his coworkers had other business ventures they were running both on and off the clock. Of the remainder, one half of them did almost nothing. The 80-20 rule on display. So yeah, El Hussein, if you've got any other questions, we've got a great panel here, a group of people that can answer questions about flat Earth. If there's anything you want to know.
No, not much really. Just wanted to listen if there's any interesting takes being made here, and also to attend the countdown for 2026 since I already missed it here.
Oh, good. Yeah, which time zone are we actually going to count down? I don't know. Because we got people from different ones. So I'm sure we'll end up counting down here.
3 a.m. here, so.
Yeah. I mean, we really should, I guess, count down at the top of every hour. I don't know. I don't know if there's anywhere that we have representatives from that would be celebrating at the top of the next hour. Probably not. Effie Batman's already in 2026, I do believe. Loggy's already there. Old dude's there. But yeah, we've got people on the West Coast that are nowhere near midnight.
So I posted the executive order in the relevant text in the chat. So I'll read it for ha-has. Determinations. The agencies and agency subdivisions set forth in Section 2 of this order are hereby determined to have a primary function: intelligence, counterintelligence, investigative, or national security work. Here's the list. Agencies or subdivisions of the Department of Commerce, the International Trade Administration, Office of the Commissioner for Patents and Subordinate Units, Patent and Trademark Office, the following subdivisions of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, National Environmental Satellite Data and Information Service, the National Weather Service, adding the following under Section 1-419, 1-420, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, in the United States Agency for Global Media.